And he comes up to me and he like, pounds it. And he's like, Bretagne, like, way to kill it. Looking good. And I was like, Ryan, I was going to say the same thing about you. I love coming to this gym and seeing you. I love seeing your effort and your hustle. And I just want you to know that you're exactly where you need to be, that this is exactly where you need to be at this time. And you're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. And I'm just so glad that I get to witness it. And he like, is taken back. He's like, well, I feel the exact same way about you, that you make the gym special. And I come here because you bring energy. And I was taken back. Like I was trying to uplift you and you turn around and you uplift me. And I was like, oh, I love that, Ryan. We'll keep killing it. Hello and welcome. I'm Bretagne.
I'm Johanna.
And I'm Anike, and you're listening to Dare to Try podcast.
Well, hello. Welcome, sisters. Another week, another podcast, another dare, another truth.
Good morning.
Hello.
So, Anike, you were just telling us one of your favorite quotes that I think sums up our truth and dare from last time. Will you share that quote with us?
Yeah, it's actually cool. So it's by George Eliot, and George Eliot is actually a woman who has a male pen name. So kind of fun. I don't remember her actual name, but she goes by George Eliot. So she was like pretending to be a man, but she was never a man. She is a woman who just wanted a male pen name. So the quote is, "It's never too late to be what you might have been."
I love that quote. I need that quote in my life. If you're anything like me, you have to be reminded that you're not running out of time, that you're exactly where you're supposed to be, which brings us to last week's truth and dare. Johanna, do you want to kind of recap what the truth was?
Yeah, so the truth was, if you could, talk to anyone and give them advice, what would it be? And it was kind of funny because as we talked about it, each one of us decided that the person that we wanted to meet and talk to was ourselves.
We love ourselves.
We love ourselves. But the cool aspect is that it just goes to show how much we have grown, and that we would either want to talk to our future self and want to give ourselves advice, or we would talk to our past self and go back and tell that person something that we learned. Anyway, so the advice that we would give ourselves each and every single day, that was the dare. The dare is to go find someone, because we talk to someone every single day. And so the dare was to go talk to someone and give them that piece of advice. So for me, my piece of advice that I wanted to hear every single day was, be your true self, and trust yourself. And that's what I've been learning. And I wish I had known that, is just to trust myself and trust my connection with God. And so what happened with me, I am a stay-at-home mom, and most of my time I am with my children, and they were only 3 and 1, so I had to walk by example. But then my husband I see every single day, and so my conversation ended up pointing more towards him, and unintentionally I gave him that piece of advice 3 separate times, and I didn't even realize I was giving him that advice until afterwards. And I was like, oh my gosh, I did my dare. So it was great. And it was just in conversation that we've been having some hard times with relationships with other people, and so we just decided, okay, you just need to trust your instincts. You got to trust your instincts on this. You got to trust yourself and respect yourself, and it's going to work out. So that happened with me. What about you guys?
What was his reaction?
Because it was just in a normal conversation, he just accepted it. Caden, my husband, is a super accepting guy. Like, he's like, okay, yeah, that makes sense, and yeah, I'm gonna do that. So
yeah, he's extremely coachable. You're like, you can do these amazing things. He's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah. He believes whatever you tell him, which can be good or bad.
But he also makes you feel really good. You know, Caden's a special human. So I'm glad that you shared that wisdom and that advice with him. Often we think, ooh, stranger, new connection, right? Like, what new person can I connect with? Often neglecting those who are closest to us. So I love that you chose him.
Thanks.
Awesome. What about
Anike?
you? Oh, me? All right. So I'm actually really grateful for this dare because something really beautiful happened that wouldn't have otherwise happened. I don't think. So as soon as you gave the dare, well, I don't know if it was as soon as, but within like a couple days of me thinking about who I would talk to, because I thought, oh, I'll just randomly talk to somebody at a grocery store. It'll be really funny to just be like, hey, I'm gonna tell you something. But I didn't go to the grocery store this week and we were really busy. And so it wasn't till Saturday night after an event that I put together that was a really amazing success, but it was like already 9:30 at night and I didn't know what our Sunday would look like. So I just was like, I forgot I need to do this dare. When I backed up, a couple days into the week, I thought of a person's name. My friend, who we're not actually that close, but she is someone, and I'm not going to say her name because I didn't talk to her about sharing this, but
Who make up a name?
Okay, Lucy. So Lucy, we will call her Lucy. She is someone that is a health coach and an energy healer, and she's someone who I met. I don't remember how I met her. I think I met her like online, and I was seeking help for my marriage and wanted help like as a health coach, but I didn't have any money. And she let me come to her house, which she normally does these consultations for free over the phone. And she let me come to her house for 30 minutes. And actually it ended up being almost an hour for free. And she like coached me. And it was a very important time in my life. And like, I'll always forever be grateful to her for this, that she let me do this. Anyway, so over time, she's spoken at some of my events I've put together. We've kind of collaborated with each other and kind of been friends, had some meetups. So we're not very close and we don't talk. Like I don't call her often. We like chat on maybe Facebook every once in a while, but that's pretty much it, the extent of our relationship. But when Johanna gave this dare, a couple days after, I thought of her name and I was like, I should call Lucy. I think I need to call her and I think I need to tell her the advice. And, but then the week got busy and so I didn't do it. But then Saturday night and I was like, oh shoot, I got to do the dare. And so like, I feel, and then Lucy's name popped in my head again. And I was like, I need to call Lucy. So I called her up. I don't even have her phone number. So I called her through Facebook Messenger, which is cool that you can do that. But I called her and she picked up right away. She was like, Anike, hi. And I think she probably thought like I needed help because I've reached out to her in the past because I needed help. And I was like, hey, I wanted to let you know. And this is what the advice was that I would give myself. And so I told her, I said, I just want to call you and let you know that you are enough and you are exactly where you need to be and you're doing exactly what you need to be doing. And she was just like really quiet for a minute. And she said, she was like, thank you so much. And she was like choking up. You could tell she was like crying a little bit. At least that was my perspective. Maybe she wasn't, but it seemed like she was.
In my mind, I made her cry.
But she was like, that's really interesting because this week I have had some major breakthroughs and about being enough specifically. And I have been working on overcoming that hurdle about me not feeling like I am enough this week. And so you calling and telling me that just like reassures me that that's exactly what I've been working on. And I've had those breakthroughs, but the fact that you called, like, and she was just stunned and she was kind of like stumbling over words. She's like, I I don't really know what to say. I'm really glad you followed that prompting, and I'm really grateful. And we ended up talking for 40 minutes, which is the longest we've ever talked as like friends. It was a really good conversation. She was inspiring me. I don't know if I was inspiring her, but like it was a really good conversation, and it would not have happened if I was like, oh crap, I got to do my dare. And I mean, I had the intention of doing the dare, and then I was inspired to call her. So I feel like inspiration, of course, came from God, but if it wasn't for the dare, I wouldn't have been open to that inspiration. So that's the cool part about these dares, is it opens us up to do things that we wouldn't otherwise have done.
I love that. And I love that you called her, even though you didn't have her number. You were like, you know what, this is the person that I need to call. And that Lucy was so open to receiving it. Did you let her know that we were doing a dare, or did you just share the advice?
I didn't, because I didn't want to take away from like the power of, I felt inspired to tell her that specific message. I think she'll eventually know, but it was very powerful to say, like, I felt like I should call you right now. And so it was really good.
I love that. That's a really neat story.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'm next.
Mm-hmm.
I loved this dare as well. So my truth was, I would talk to myself. If there's only one person, I want to talk to my higher self. And the advice that I would hope to receive is, you're exactly where you need to be. You're not running out of time, and this is meant to be. Like, you're supposed to be in this hotel or with this person in this state at this time. It's all a part of a grand design. And I was really excited because I wanted that connection, and I didn't want to express that it was a dare either. And so I went ahead, I think it was maybe on Tuesday, the very next day, and found an opportunity at the gym. There's this guy there. I told him that I might share this. His name's Ryan, and he's always working out really hard, but he kind of downplays his hard work. And he comes up to me and he like, pounds it, and he's like, Bretagne, like, way to kill it, looking good. And I was like, Ryan, I was going to say the same thing about you. I love coming to this gym and seeing you. I love seeing your effort and your hustle. And I just want you to know that you're exactly where you need to be, that this is exactly where you need to be at this time. And you're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. And I'm just so glad that I get to witness it. And he is taken back. He's like, well, I feel the exact same way about you, that you make the gym special, and I come here because you bring energy. And I was taken back. Like, I was trying to uplift you, and you turn around and you uplift me. And I was like, oh, I love that, Ryan. We'll keep killing it. And I felt really good about that. Well, a couple of days later, the next day, I had an opportunity to meet with a friend who inspires me. I actually met him at a coffee shop when I first moved to Colorado. And he has his own nonprofit. He has his own for-profit. He's writing a screenplay. He has been through so much. And he recently got his dad out of jail for being sentenced to a ridiculous sentence. And just his story is so courageous. And so I'm over here thinking, what can I share? How can I inspire you when you inspire me all the time? And I gave him the advice, like, well, this is why you're here. This is why you're talking to me. This is why we're walking right now, is you're exactly where you need to be. And our lives are meant to intersect, and you inspire me. And I just want you to know that everything you're doing is right because you're doing it. And he was like, yeah, that's true. And I just loved his confidence, absolutely, I am exactly where I'm supposed to be, and I am killing it, and this is who I am, and so are you. And just know, Bretagne, that you are you, and that's what makes this world so great. And the world would be different if you weren't in it. And you bring a unique perspective to everything that you do. And so I'm just so grateful that I have you in my life. And I was like, damn, I didn't expect that. That was really nice. And then yesterday, I decided to go to a coffee shop and drink coffee way too late. That's a whole nother story. But I'm sitting there and this gentleman's leaving and he says something like, oh, they have really good coffee. And I was like, yeah, the coffee's great. I like to come here. And I could tell that he wanted more of a conversation. So we just start chit-chatting and he has one hand on the door, like he's on his way out, but I can tell, but his body language is that he wants to talk. So I waved him over and I said, do you want to come talk with me? And he's like, yeah. And he blew my mind about the things that he talked about. I can't even go into it because it was words that I don't even know how to pronounce. He talked about pharmaceuticals and chemistry and biology on a molecular level that I can barely comprehend. And I've been in the pharmacy industry for a very long time. We talked about politics and foreign policy, and my mind was blown about the things that he described with such intellect. And as he was like wrapping up, and we had talked for like an hour, he was like, listen, I'm really sorry, that I just talked and talked and talked. And I'm like, no, I'm really glad that you did. I'm really glad that you talked with me. And I just want you to know that you're exactly where you're supposed to be. You were meant to be in this coffee shop and you were meant to talk to me. And I'm really grateful for that experience. And he stops and he goes, you have no idea how much that means to me. I travel and I'm alone all the time. And the only people I talk to are work people and they get tired of hearing me. And I'm just so grateful to have a conversation where I could just be myself and connect.
That's so cool.
This week was beautiful.
I love that you did it 3 times. You're like, dare accepted. I want to tell you, I want to tell you, I want to tell you.
Love that for each of us, it was different.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how you do the dare. The whole point is to get out there. And Bretagne went out there. She was out and about and she was talking to a million strangers. And Anike, you did so good. You went out and from your phone, you went and put forth that effort. And then for me, neither of those were within my grasp. And so for me, it was just, I had to reach out of my own comfort instead of just sitting and thinking, all right, I got to dare, how am I going to do this? But in my conversation, I made the conscious decision to go and do it. And so it was within the comfort of my family and in my own home or in my own car, but it was outside of my own comfort level.
Well,
there are different levels
too. I think what you did was the hardest. I think that showed incredible vulnerability to have that communication with your husband. I know me thinking about the things that we talk about, I'm not ready to talk to Jason about this stuff. It's a level of emotional vulnerability that I don't think we can always connect on, that I can connect with you guys. And I have a weird way of connecting with strangers very easily. But sometimes I have a hard time connecting with my circle. And so I think you did the harder thing by doing this challenge with your husband.
I love that. I love how there are just so many different aspects of going about it. I love that.
Yeah,
good job, guys.
Yeah, living outside your comfort zone doesn't have to be go skydiving. Although it can. One day, maybe it could reach that, or maybe you already live, already live a fearless, adventurous life. So going outside your comfort zone would be difficult. So you have to step it up. But for someone who stays home a lot, who doesn't see people a lot, and like Bretagne said, being vulnerable with your own husband can very well be stepping out of your comfort zone. And so I think it varies from every person. I also think it's cool that this advice was something that we wanted to give ourselves. And Bretagne, and your experiences, they gave that advice back to you. And so you wanted to give yourself that advice, and by serving others, it came back to you. So it's kind of like a cool karma thing too.
Absolutely. Yeah. 3 times that advice was given back to me, but also the extra layer of advice of be yourself, be authentically you, because there's no one else like you. And that was another like layer of advice that I got back, that people appreciate what I have to offer. And that I needed to hear that this week. And that was probably the biggest thing that I learned from this experience, was being open to connecting and knowing that I don't have to have 1,000,000 degrees. I don't have to be the most educated or the most intellectual or eloquent. I am special and I have a unique perspective and I have something to offer. And if I do, then so do you.
That's awesome.
So that brings us to this week's Truth and Dare. So truth, you guys ready for it?
Mm-hmm.
What is something in your life that you are not getting enough of? What is something that you are lacking that you want more of? It could be money. It could be sleep. It could be me time. It could be sunshine. It could be naked time. What is something that you are not getting enough of? Johanna.
Well, in my very, very current state, I'm thinking sleep. I was up all night with my children. So yeah, I would love more sleep, but I think in a bigger aspect, I think I want more success. I think I want to go make some goals. First, I need to make some more goals. And I didn't realize I don't have a bucket list. And I have been going each day almost on survival mode. And so I would like to give my life a little bit more structure and, you know, have some goals and be dominating those goals. I want to achieve them. So.
Oh, I love that. So much there. Success. When you said success, I thought, well, how are you going to measure that? But then you said, I want more things on a bucket list, create a bucket list. I want more goals. I want to get out of survival mode. And I think those can all feed into each other. Before I get to the dare, Anike, what is something that you are lacking that you need more of?
So my first gut response was money, because I feel like that's easy. Everybody wants more money. Just like living in a state of lack, and like the way, like with our background, you know, our parents told us money doesn't grow on trees, and we couldn't afford to do things. And, you know, we started piano lessons and then we didn't have piano lessons, and half of us had like dance lessons and half of us didn't. And or like they, I think maybe took turns with a kid doing an extracurricular activity. I'm not sure, but I feel like we grew up, you know, on canned green beans and spaghetti, and no fault to our parents at all. I mean, 5 kids is a lot of kids, but also we had this in our subconscious that, you know, this is how life is to be. But if I go deeper into that, I feel like the thing that I want more of is forgiveness of myself, because I couldn't control, and I still can't control, how my parents raised me, but I can only control me. And lately I've had a lot of regret of what I didn't do, like in my early 20s. Like I went to college, which was great, got a degree. Then I served a religious mission, which was great. But then I came home and I sat on my butt for 2 weeks just watching TV until you, Bretagne, were like, are you going to come work for me or not? Like, come work for me at the pharmacy. And I was like, okay, yeah, I guess I'll get a job. But I like lost sight of any kind of vision. Maybe I didn't understand my why, understand my vision. I didn't do it. But I like regret not doing things. I just got a job, which, don't get me wrong, I absolutely 100% loved working with you, Bretagne. It's one of my favorite jobs because of you. But I wasn't working towards anything. And then I got married and I stayed home when I had kids, and I still just had no vision. And I was just like, man, why didn't we invest in real estate when we were first married and we were both working and we could have afforded a mortgage? And why didn't we start a business before we had kids? Because it's so much harder now that we have kids. And so I just keep thinking like regret. And so if I were to get unstuck, because regret is keeping me stuck, if I were to forgive myself more and give myself more grace, I think I'll be able to get unstuck and move on and not blame our parents for our childhood, but keep myself accountable for my life and my future. So, and I think it will also help us get more abundance financially as well, because once you get unstuck and change your mindset and forgive yourself, then I think things will start rolling financially and in the business realm as well.
Absolutely. The money will come.
Yeah.
You know, I think often if we make money the focus, then it's the one thing that we can't grasp. And so the money will come. And I like what you said about taking responsibility. You know, one of the best things we can do for ourselves is take responsibility for our actions, for our thoughts, for our emotions, because then you can change it. The moment you step into a victim role, you no longer have the power to change anything. And what a horrible life. What a horrible way to live. And so I love that you're already thinking like, okay, I need to work on forgiveness of myself, forgiveness of my family. And one way to do that is to take responsibility for what I can do now, not what I should have done before.
Yeah, exactly.
So for me, one of the things that I am lacking in, sleep is also one of those, and I would love some money. But for me, it is time disconnected. So much of my me time is spent stressed, overwhelmed, and me forcing myself to take a break, not because I just want to unplug and experience life, but because I'm about to lose my ish. And if I don't, I'm going to, quit my job or break up with my boyfriend or, make some irrational choices. So I've really been thinking about the moments where I have allowed time for me not to be on my phone, not working out, not preparing for bed, not getting ready. And I don't have any of that time. I don't even give myself 15 minutes to just daydream, to just think. And I need more of that. I'm a creative soul. You guys are both creative people. So you understand that if you don't allow that time, then you are stifling your talent and your creativity, and in a lot of ways, stifling yourself. So that is one thing that I have been lacking that I want more of. So the dare brings us to the dare. Drum roll.
Well, Bretagne, that's cool because I feel like that's very important. It's just like all the successful people are always talking about meditation, and inspiration never stops. Inspiration is always flowing. It's just, are we stopping to listen to it? And so as a creative person and as someone who wants to move forward, I think that is a really good thing to be looking out for everyone, to just sit even for 15 minutes and just let inspiration come.
Exactly. And not get caught up in, oh my gosh, this is my 15 minutes. I better be inspired.
Yeah.
No, like 15 minutes to lay in the grass, 15 minutes to walk without music or without counting your steps, 15 minutes to just be present and see what you feel, think, smell, and experience.
I love that.
So this week's dare is to take action, to come up with a plan and execute that plan to get more of what you are lacking. You don't have to tell me what your plan is today or right now, but your homework, your mission, if you choose to accept it, is to develop a plan to get more of what you need.
Okay.
Any questions on that?
I accept.
So it's just a plan. So we don't actually have to do the thing.
No. You have to do both.
So a plan and execute.
Yes. Are you trying to get out of this?
No. It's really important. I just wanted to clarify. So a plan.
Yeah, because if you don't have a plan, like if I tell myself, okay, I'm definitely going to have 15 minutes where I can unplug, but then my week is crazy and I don't have the time and I have meetings and I schedule gym time or I'm, whatever it is that I need to do, a meal prepping, then I'm planning, right? If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So I need you guys to, in the next couple of days, take some time to figure out what can you do, and it's not going to be perfect, but Anike, what can you do to not live in regret? What can you do to forgive yourself and others? Johanna, what can you do to set some goals, to maybe create a bucket list, to get out of survival mode? And what can I do to give myself the time that I desperately need to just be? That is this week's challenge.
I'm excited.
Yeah. Okay. So, and remember, log your experience, take notes, share it on social media, text us. That's the other thing, is you don't have to do this alone. If you're feeling stuck, reach out. Hey, I'm really trying to work on this goal. And it doesn't have to be to us, right? There might be someone else who can help you with this challenge. Feel free to ask for help. So
yeah, the dare's not just for us, and the truth is not just for us, even though, it's fun and it helps us, but we want to empower other people to do that same thing, to go and do something you wouldn't have otherwise done. And so that's why challenges are so good, because it literally moves us in a direction that we wouldn't do on our own. And so we're challenging everyone to think about these truths and to do these dares. And we can, you can listen to last episodes and also do the other dares as well.
Yeah. Exactly. And share, we want to hear about what you're challenging yourself to do, because maybe that's something we would benefit from. Okay. I love it. Sisters, let's get after it.
Yay!
Until next time.
That's the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, we really need to sign off. I really think we need and that's the way it was. We really need that. And that's,
I don't know.